As you can see, I've got all the wheels in there now. It was a bit of a challenge at one time because the pivots on the wheels down at the base of the movement are shorter than the pivots on the wheels up at the top. And as you open the plates to put the top ones in, the bottom wheels tended to fall out. However, that's been done now. So we'll start off putting the movement back together again now on the outside. We'll start off from the strike side. Putting the ratchet on. I'll grab a screw that fits in there, put it into our driver. Take it aside. Start it in the slot. Then use a normal screwdriver and we'll tighten it down, except of course it's the wrong size. So I'll have to take it out and find a smaller one. Strange, I was sure it was that, but anyway, we'll give this a try. Doesn't look big enough, but well, it goes in, so that looks like it's the correct one. Tighten it down with a normal screwdriver. Now put the click on, which is situated there, right there, and I'd say that is the one that had the large screw in it. Line that up, drop the screw in, turn it round, remove that, use a normal screwdriver and tighten it down. Right, last piece on that, when I can get it, is the click spring. Which goes there. Last screw, put it in our screw catching screwdriver, and got him. Drop him into the hole, tighten it down a little bit, and then using a normal screwdriver, tighten the screw down. Now we'll check and see if the click spring is strong enough. No, it's not. I remember that from when we were taken to pieces. I said some of them had to be tightened up, and that's obviously one of them. So remove the screw, put it back in the dish, align the click spring, and have a look to see how much we're going to have to bend it. About 1/4 of an inch by the look of it. Get a pair of sharp nosed pliers, put them on the click spring and ease it out very gently. Put it back on the movement, in place, line the hole. And it could go out a tiny bit more yet, so we'll redo that. Pliers on the click spring again, move it out a little bit, not too much. Every time you move it, you'll work hardening the metal. You don't want it to break. So we'll align the click spring again in the hole, get our special screwdriver, hold the screw, drop it into the hole, give it 3 or 4 turns, but not down to the bottom. Take it out, and then use a normal screwdriver to tighten it down. Right, now we'll have a look and make sure that we've got our click spring is strong enough. You can see there now, I'm pulling back on it. It's quite strong. It'll hold the click in place. When we wind that up, that'll be no problem. I noticed when I was putting the click spring back onto the movement that the screw that holds it down, that attaches it, has closed up a little bit at the top. It's very hard to get the screwdriver to go right to the bottom of it. It's obviously pretty hard to see there, but there's a bit of a catch 2/3 of the way along where someone has just chucked the screwdriver in that's too big, spun it round, and it slipped out and scored the side of the screw. It's not bad enough to have to put it on a lathe, to reface it with a pivot file and then run over it with an India stone and then a degusset stone and then burnish it and then re-blue it. So it's not that bad. It doesn't require that. If it was much worse, we would have to. But how we solve that problem is we use one of these, a Swiss-made file specifically designed for fixing up slots in screws. The top heads there and the bottom heads there have very fine teeth on them, and that's what's used for filing inside the slot on a screw, and either side is completely flat. You're not widening the gap in the screw while you're cutting it deeper. So what we'll do, there's our screw there, we can see. I'll just rest it against this bench vise here, little bench vise, to give us terms of reference to keep it square, and then using this file I drop it down inside the slot on the screw and very carefully draw it backwards and forwards, keeping it perpendicular to the face of the screw. You can hear it cutting. Let's see if that is deep enough or whether we have to do a little bit more. Right, there's our screw. See if yep, that solved the problem. The driver now fits in and goes right to the bottom of the slot. We can now turn that without any risk of the screwdriver jumping out like so and damaging the face of the screw. Right, I'll now put that onto the movement, then we'll come back and do some more. All the click springs are on now, as you can see. Now we'll start to put a couple of the levers back into the movement. We'll start off with this one here. Goes in there, over there and in under there. Turn it over on the side, and that goes into there. As we can see there, there's a hole that we put a little piece of wire in. Not the 18 gauge wire they had in the last time that was horrible to get out, but we'll be using 24 gauge. So we'll slide the end of the wire in through that hole, push it through about 1/4 of an inch or a bit less, then bend down. That'll hold it in place while we push the other end down. Right, now I'll cut that piece of wire off. Not with a pair of pliers, I won't. Go with my cutters, snip that off, put the wire aside. Then I'll bend the top piece of wire here up and over. So we end up with an S-shape piece of wire over the top. Then up from the bottom from the other direction. That will hold that lever on. It'll never fall off, and it doesn't need to be as tight as the original ones that were a damn nuisance to get off. Okay, so that's the first one. If you want to learn how to service, repair and restore 19th and 20th century mechanical clocks, then subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell.
Good morning.